Dein Weiss.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, where do you find that?
Yeshiva
Yeah.
World News.
Where? Can you forward it to us?
I'll send the link afterwards, yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah,
Send
thank
the
you.
link out, yeah. He put out. Someone gave me Diane Weiss put out. Usher Weiss put out a whole Seif on the coronavirus. 100 pages. I have it in my house.
Rav Zilberstein also did.
Oh yeah.
Also 100 pages between the two of them. They're
Yeah.
very interesting shilas. They have shilas that are medical and also non-medical. What do you happens if you already had a you're planning a chasna with Kalman, and what's the it's
Who
very
pays for
ominous.
it? Yeah, who's the
Yeah.
boss of? Yeah.
Very, very interesting shilas.
Yeah. Okay. Shin Mem Gimel. Siman Shin Mem Gimel. We're gonna move quickly now. There's not a lot doing here. I'm not sure why in the shiur is spread out so much, but let's go through it. Fine. Shin Mem Gimel. Mitzvahs Halavayas Hameis. Just a quick akdama. This is two sifin over here, but later on in Shin Samach Aleph. I think it's Shin Samach Aleph. There's a lot, yeah. Shin Samach Aleph is also another couple of sifin about it. It's Hashlama to this siman. Okay, Meis Be'ir. There's a mace in the city. Kovane Ir Asun B'Malacha. Everybody in the city is not allowed to do malacha. Shekala roya mace. Ve'enim alaveyu achayir loy kol tzarchay bar niduyhu. The Gemara Moed Cotton says anybody who doesn't take care of the mace is a bar nidui. It happens to be that all these Gemaras here, all these halachas here are like come out word for the Gemaras in Moed Cotton. I took some time over the last 2 days Yom Tov when I had some free time. And if you go through from daf Yutes in Moed Katan, it's 10 blat. If you go through those 10 blat, it shouldn't take too long. You go through those 10 blat, you come out of all the halachas that we saw are in those 10 blat. Everything we're going to see also 10 blat in Moed Katan. It's good to go through it inside if you have some extra time. So the Gemara there says that Meis Be'ir, that the whole city has to stop doing malacha. Why? Because they have to be oisik in the mace. The Gemara says, "Kol haraya mace ve'enim malaveyu achiyah like kol tzarchay bar nidrihu is put into chayrim." Now, but from yesh chaburas be'ir shkolachem za'asekas b'meiseim b'yoymei, there's a chabura in the city that every day they take care. They have their day to take care of the meisim. Mutter b'yoym she'ena yoyma. That's not for today, but we have kadishas to take care of the meisim. And therefore, if there's a mace in the city, there's no reason why the whole city has to stop working because the Chevra Kadisha takes care of it. When you're not taking out the mace. When we're taking out the mace, everyone has to stop and be malava the mace. So the Shach says over here, is Shin Samach Hey, it says, I think it's supposed to be Shin Samach Aleph, Seif Beis. You see later on that when the mace passes by, everyone has to stop by and be malav with the mace. This is only if, today in the big cities, we don't even know about the mason. But anytime there's a levaya passing by, you have to walk out and be malav with the mace. Otherwise, it's a bezoyin for the mace. So that does happen sometimes. When a mace passes by your store, then you have to stop and be malav with the mace. Okay, Seif Beis.
Rebbe, on a practical level, if a lot of times you're driving, you see a funeral procession going by, should you be following it for any distance?
You know it's a Jewish funeral?
Yeah, you can tell, of course.
Yeah, you could. It's Daled Amif, the whole thing.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But the truth is, the reason why you have to be malav with Daled Amif is because it's passing by your store and you're ignoring it. If you're driving on the highway, what are you supposed to do? Pull over?
It's more like on Bathurst Street. You could. It's
No. If you see Levi driving down Bathurst Street and you're in your car on Bathurst Street, You don't have to do anything.
Especially if you're on the wrong direction.
Yeah. No, I'm saying
Don't turn
words-
around. Yeah, don't turn around to follow it.
Yeah.
If it's passing by your store, here's not so. Here's so go down Bathurst Street. People have stores that they don't know. They don't see every time the buyer's coming by. So then maybe you don't have to come out of your store to be malavid.
All right.
But you have a lot of times with here you don't have it so much. We have the funeral homes. I know in Brooklyn you have it. It's around where stores are. So when they come out of the funeral home and they're driving down the street there, everyone's walking behind the Aron still. They're not driving really. Everyone's walking behind the Aron, and you pass by stores on the way.
Uh-huh.
The people of the stores will come out and be allowed with the mace.
Okay.
Steve Bays, B'kfar Kotel Ein Shalom Shalom Zelazek Shameis Be'ir. In a small city where everybody knows about the mace and everybody knows each other. So Ein Shalom Shalom Zelazek. You're not allowed to say good morning. You're not allowed to say how you doing. Ein Shalom Shalom when there's a mace in the city because everybody knows about it. Everybody feels it. It's a small city. Ein Shalom Shalom Zelazek. Hagav V'Kolshkin Ein Shalom Shalom Sheyesh Mace Al Beis HaKfaros. When you're in the Beis HaKfaros and there's a mace there in the Beis HaKfaros, not buried yet, you're not allowed to ask somebody how you doing. Also b'shilas shalom. Aval k'she'ein mace sham shoyelim b'rochok arba amas min hakever. There's no mace that wasn't buried in the Beis HaKfaros. Stamazah you're in the Beis HaKfaros and there's kfarim. So 4 amas, 8 feet away from the kever, shoyelim shalom. You're allowed to ask somebody how he's doing. But within 4 amas of the basic of the caver, you're not allowed to ask somebody how he's doing. So here, if you look at the shach all the way at the end of Siman Shem Mem Dalid, the end of Sif Katan Yud Aleph. Huh? Yeah. At the end of Sif Katan Yud Aleph, he says, because of a Mordechai, you see? The Shach, Siman Shin Mem Dalid, sorry. Shin Mem Dalid, the end of Sif Katan Yud Aleph. Hold on 1 second. No, I have a machine. It's my machine.
Yeah, because of a Mordechai.
It's there, it's on the table. On the other table, on the left. Because of a Mordechai, the Chol Oisei Chedesh HaMeis Munach Boi, Choshev Kedaler Amis, V'chein Kosev HaBach, V'ayin L'kamot Tzemeshin Tzamach Vov. The Mordechai says that if the mace is in the house, in the same room, same house even maybe, it's considered Daler Amoisav. It's considered within Daler Amis HaMeis. We'll see what it's negated for later on over there. The same thing will apply over here. If you're in a room together with a mace, Ain't Shayelim B'Shalom. That's called in front of the mace. Even though in the whole city you're allowed to be Shayelim B'Shalom, but in the room itself, it's also to be Shayel B'Shalom when the mace is there. Therefore, when someone goes to a funeral and the mace is in the room, once the mace comes into the room, it's also Lishal B'Shalom. You're not allowed to ask somebody how he's doing, also to do it. That comes from this halacha. So the only 2 things that's really negeya from this sif to us today is in a basic forest. You have to be 4 amas away from the caver, and when there's a mace there in the basic forest, or when you're in a funeral home and the mace is there, it's also b'shilas shalom zelazeh. You're not allowed to ask shalom as kvorit hames.
Does that mean you're not supposed to talk at all, or?
It doesn't say you're not allowed to talk at all. That's supposed to ask shalom. You're allowed to talk. We'll see later on. In front of the mace, it's mutter to talk. We'll see exactly what, but you're allowed to talk in front of the mace, but Shila Shalom is also. The reason why Shila Shalom is also is because it's not a time of peace. Someone who died, it's not a time of peace. Therefore, you don't ask somebody in Yonah peace, how you doing, or say Shalom Aleichem. Therefore, you can't do that. Okay, Shin Mem Daled. Shin Daled Mem, as it says it over here. Chiv hesped the Geidel Schare v'Kesad v'Amim Haspidim. The Indian of making a hesped. Mitzvah Gedoyle Hasped al Ameis Kiraoi. The mitzvah to be maspid the mace accordingly to this every mace to what he is. It's an Indian to cry and to make other people cry. That's the Kvoid HaMace. Dr. Shach right away. If someone cried in an Adam kosher, Adam kosher does not mean Adam kosher, but Talmud Chacham we had before. An Adam kosher is a Stam Yid. There's an Adam kosher. He does the right thing. So Kol Amayri the Moitel Adam kosher Kadosh Baruch Hu Seifram Manicham Bebeitz Genozav V'Chol Atzel BeHespedoi. And someone who isn't maspishal Adam kosher, Einay Ma'irich Yamim V'Royel Lekoivre B'Chayav. It's not a nice thing, Bekitza. Someone who's not maspid Adam kosher Karoi, the halacha is that he's not Ma'irich Yamim. Okay, so that's one thing we have to do. You have to be moiru de mois, and another thing is lahaske shvachai, and to say to remember his shvach, the good traits of this person who died. But also lahafik b'shvachai yosim medai. You're not allowed to say more than it really is. And the maskira midas taivus shaboy. You mention his good midas. Umaysifin behem ktas, and you add on a little bit. We'll see what that means. We'll see in the Taz in a second. You add on a little bit more than he really is. Rakshla Yaflig, you shouldn't go too much. You don't exaggerate too much. You exaggerate a little bit, but not too much. From Lahaya by Midas Taivas Klal, how about this person that has no Midas Taivas? He's a Russia. La Yaskir Olav, don't say he has. And the same thing would be that if you know this guy was a crook, don't say how good he was in business. You can say other shvachim of the person, but don't say a shvach that he didn't have. There's a famous joke, and they say, Achrei Mois Kedoshim Emor. There's 3 parshas. Achrei Mois, after someone dies, Kedoshim Emor, we say he's Kaddish. We say he's very holy. Right? You find the shvachim, you say it. You say the good things about a person, but don't make them up. V'chacham v'chassid maskirim lehem chachmosam v'chasidusam. V'chacham and a chassid, you mention all the chachma and the chassidus. V'chal maskir al mishla hayu by klal. If someone says something about a person who didn't have that midah b'chlal, where he exaggerates much more than the person really has, he's making bad for himself and for the mace. So you can't exaggerate too much, but the Mechaber says you can be marbek tzas, you can exaggerate a little bit. Why? Says the Taz, Sif Cotton Aleph. Who cares how much you're lying? You're lying a little bit, you're lying a lot. The mind of Gemina. Venera says a Taz. What's his Tamazeh? Very interesting Taz. The Dover Mistaverhu should call me Sha'oisa Eze mitzvah. Anybody that does a mitzvah, whatever amount he does, if it would come to him, something that needs a little bit more than he just did, he wouldn't leave it alone to do it even a little bit more. He wouldn't, because a little bit more, he wouldn't get rid of the mitzvah he was doing. That's a very interesting thing. See someone does something good. You saw him doing it at a level of 80%, let's say. But maybe if it would come to him at a higher level, and he could do it for 90%, he would do it also. No reason why to say because a little bit more, he wouldn't do it. So therefore, anytime you see someone doing something good, you could assume he would do the same thing if the situation would be a drop tougher for him to do it. It would be a drop harder for him to do it, he would still do it. Says the Taz, therefore, you're allowed to be marbik tzas b'shvacha. You can add on a little bit shvach, because the some other person would do it, even if it would come to him in that situation.
Rabbi? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to ask on the first shach, the very end of that first shach, when it says "V'roy lekavro b'chayav," does that mean what I think it means?
That means what?
That he should be buried alive?
It means when he's supposed to live. B'chayiv
Huh?
is when he's supposed to live.
So it means that
Roy l'kavra b'chayiv.
he should die early. It means he should
Correct.
die early,
Correct.
not buried alive.
No, not very alive. No. B'chayiv means when he's supposed to be alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather just plain die early than be buried alive, though.
Yeah. That's the Taz, a very important Taz. Yeshber Yerushalmi writes, Hameis yedeya v'shemeya kilusai. The mace hears and he understands when kilusai is his shvach, when you're praising him. Just like in a dream. He knows everything you're saying about him until Yistam HaGoyla means until you finish burying him. Okay. Steve Bays. Shem Shema Speedim al Hanoshim Semi Maspid on men, Chachma Speedim al Hanoshim on ladies, Kira'u Lahem, according to their level, according to their deeds, the Maspid them, and the Spodois being Hanoshim Chachamim. And the Hespedim are between men and Chachamim, also the Maspid woman. He means Lafuke, the woman should not be Maspid woman. So it's men that are Maspid the woman. Gimel, the Makasher Gim Lahaske Mikaininois, Lahaspid, in a place, Mikaininois, as you find a lot of Moed cotton, is the ladies would cry out. They would make noises, like they have to by Sfardim a lot of times. Yeah, they would make noises, and one would say something, they would answer.
The family cry.
Yeah, family cry. So if a place where the minig is that they rent, the koininois lahaspid chayev lahaskin with koininois lahaspid al ishtoi. He's mechuyev to rent with koininois to be maspid for his wife. Vim lei ratzo. Let's say the husband doesn't want. Ba'avia umaskir, her father could go ahead and rent with koininois umoitzi mimenu bal karchai, and he could take it away, take it out of the husband against his will. So here you find this a lot in the Gemara. It's not so common today, that after the wife was nifta, the husband didn't want to give her the proper respect. Because it's a bad way of saying it, but basically he's done with her now. Right? When it comes time to a parent or a child, no matter what, right? It always stays a parent or a child. But a wife, after the wife dies, okay, I'm done with her. So you find that in the Gemara a lot of times, that people wouldn't want to give respect to their wives after they died. And so therefore the Gemara says that if the minig is that the rent mekaininois, the rent is for a lady to do this, then you could force the husband to pay for it, because that's the minig. Okay, someone told me this week he just became an anti-Semite. Why? Because his wife's sister was nifter of a Yom Tov, and the burial was in New Jersey, and the husband did not go to bury his own wife.
Oh my goodness!
He stayed here. He didn't go. So I asked him, why didn't he go? So he says, Rabbi, I don't want to tell you why. Finally, he told me. He says he asked his rabbi, and his rabbi said, no reason to go bury your wife. He sent his wife to New Jersey. She got buried there, and he stayed here. Not very common these days, Baruch Hashem, but it seems like this guy's an old-timer from times of the Gemara. But people didn't give their wives the right respect after they were nifta. So therefore you could force them. Cotton, when a cotton, a little kid, when he dies, he doesn't maspid a cotton because he doesn't have any deeds yet. So how much does he have to be? So also interesting halach over here. Aniyim b'nei chamisha. Aniyim, when they're 5 years old, you start being maspid them. Ashirim b'nei shisha. The sons of Ashirim, when they're 6 years old, that's when you start being maspid them. What's the difference? If you look in the Shach, Aniyim b'nei chamisha, she'oni mitztair al bonav yosim meya ashir. A poor man has more pain when a kid dies than a rich man. Because he has no other simcha. The only simcha he has is the simcha of his kids. An Asher has other simcha, he has money. Even though it's a false simcha, we all know that. but he thinks he has another Simcha. An Ani only has a Simcha of his kids. So therefore, when an Ani loses a child, it's more painful for him than when an Asher loses a child. If someone has a child when he's older, a Ben Zakunim, so then also for him it's very painful if he loses that child, even if he's an Ashir, and therefore you do it from 5 years old. Even though you're not maspid, there's no aspedim on a kid, but there is tzedek adin and kaddish. You do say on a tinok. Hagar ve'ein hagam kain elad sheyeh ben yud beis chodesh sheyayse b'mita kedlekamon tzemeshin gimel Seif. Hey, we'll see later on that there's different halachas. A kid, when he's younger, you don't bring him out in a mita, you bring him out just in a bag. We'll see in the halachas later on. So the Ramah says that till a child is 12 months old, also we don't do kaddish and that's tzedek adin. That's what the Ramah says.
What is tzedek adin?
Tzedek adin is you say, you matzdik the din. You say that what Hashem does is always right. That's called tzedek adin. It's like our Kemal Rachamim today, similar. Kemal Rachamim. Today we'll call it Kemal Rachamim.
There is a tefillah at the end of the back of the siddur called tzedek adin.
Tzedek adin, yeah, but most people don't say it. I mean, you should be saying it.
The Sephardim say it.
Sephardim say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should say tzedek adin. Tzedek adin is being matzdik the din. He's saying that Hashem did it correct. You know, Hashem does is always correct. So it says the Shachya Gimel, ve'ein lehagim, u'bekan kahal kedushas leblin, Mehagim shall ben lamed oivim tzedek adin v'kadet shechadum ali shegam b'shar kehilos Mehagim kain v'chein roy linoi. Even though the Ramah says that a kid less than 12 years old there is no kaddish, but the Shach says that today the minhag is kaddish even for a kid under 12 years old, under 12 months. Sorry, 12 months old. Okay, Seif Hey. Bnei Ashirim v'bnei Chachamim, children of Ashirim. And children of Chachamim, Sifim Ksas al Shvach Ma'asehim. You have to add a little bit more. Says the Shach, why? Because it's covered of the parents. So therefore, you must be them. You add more Shvach because it's covered of the parents. Which
So
also.
I understand Chachamim, but why Ashirim?
Because Ashirim need covered also. You should never understand it, Simi. But they need covered. That's the way it goes.
Okay, I'm not holding in that parsha, so.
No, Baruch Hashem. Sivov. A child that knows how to interact with people, and he interacted with people at that age, so you could say a hesped on his actions also. A little child who doesn't know what he's doing, so you can't give a hesped on a little child. 6, 7, 8-year-old child, their actions, they don't really know what they're doing really. That's why when a child does something wrong, right? You explain to him what he did wrong. You don't yell at him because he doesn't know better. A child doesn't know better. So what do? You explain it to him. Eventually, he'll start acting through what you explain to him. Eventually, he'll start acting on his own. And he'll react to people with a little bit seichel. So at that age already, when he has a masa matam with people, when he can interact with people and understand what he's doing, then he could be maspid him on his own maisim. From einlei maisim, if he doesn't have any actions, he's still a kid. He can make a hesped on his through his father's deeds. From einlei maisim, his father doesn't have any good deeds. He could do a hesped through his krovim, other people in the family that have good deeds. So if the person himself doesn't have good deeds, not a child, we said before, you don't give him a hesped. But if it's a child, so why is the child shuldik? Why is he at fault? Because his father didn't have any good deeds. Therefore, you give a hesped on the deeds of his relatives. Okay. Siv Zayin, Hakala maspidin oisa bein b'maaseh avia, bein b'maaseh baylo. Hakala, you're allowed to give a hesped on her, and even mention her father's deeds or her husband's deeds, because she's still with the husband and with the father. Once she's married and she leaves her father, so you're not maspid her with her father's deeds, only with her husband's deeds. But while she's still a kala, you can be maspid her with her father or the husband's deeds.
What about her own milas?
You can do that also. You can do that also. It doesn't say here you can do a husband on his wife's milas. That doesn't say. We'll leave that for a different time.
Practically speaking, I don't think I've ever been to a hesped where they talk about someone other than
No.
mes.
You don't have it.
Yeah.
You don't have it. You do have it by chashuva people when the wives die. You do have it when the master of the wife. They say the chashivas about the husband a lot of times. They do have. That's only when the husband's a chashuva person. The husband's the same level as his wife, meaning that's a chashuva person. There's no reason to be maspid the wife with the husband's very milest. Seif ches. Hamachutich v'amasuris. A baby that came out, they had to take it out of pieces. Masuris means it came out the wrong way. Banafolim, or a nefil, or ben ches, a kid that's born in the 8th month, which in those days never lived. V'chein ben tes, mace, or it came out not alive. V'oivit kechavim, v'avadim, emis askim lehesped v'lavos. There's no hesped and there's no levaya. A kvura there is, but there's no hesped and no levaya. If you look in Sif Cotton Vav of the Shach, emis askim hesped v'lavos. Aval tzarchem mita v'kfura emis askim imoem. That avada you have to do.
I'm surprised that the Mechaber randomly sticks in Ovid Kochavim with the rest of the group. I mean,
Yeah.
Who's the Havamina?
I think the Gemara says it that way. It's tried quoting the Lashon Gemara. Yeah, it's a Bryson Perikam, yeah. Tried quoting the Lashon Gemara.
All right. I guess the question would be in the Gemara also.
That's question the Gemara, why the Gemara threw it in. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, Rabbi, I have a question.
Yeah.
We established that any child less than 30 days would not have any hesped, right? What is this din coming to tell us? I mean, even if the baby was born properly and didn't survive 30 days.
Yeah, they asked this question. It's a good question. I saw this question somewhere. A baby that's born before 30 days, anyway, you don't do anything for them. I saw this question somewhere. I forgot to tell it. So one second. This hesped and this levaya, right? Tomorrow we saw a cotton. You don't do hesped, but levaya you do, right?
Well, it depends on how you look at the previous halacha in Vav, right?
Yeah, that's talking about hesped. That's talking about levaya. Vav's talking about hespedim. Avada you do a levaya.
I mean, what would be in Ches in the same lines? It says the Hamasuras, which is a like a breach presentation.
Yeah, I guess it didn't come out alive also.
Well, some of them would die at birth because of being breached, that's for sure. But what if you had a Masuras that did not die and maybe died at 2 months of age?
No, the Chayrish should be fine. It's mashma from the Gemara that Masuras in those days never lived.
Like died right away. These are all cases where you have to have died almost right away.
Yes, correct.
And do we say?
Well, I'm not sure. I think that to your question, Laser, is that in Siv Vav and Siv Dal, these things are talking about hesped. Here we're adding on. There's no levaya either. There's no levaya. We didn't see. Did we see under 30 days?
Well, the shaf we just said before, where we said ein misak and lahasped ulavois, right? We said there tzarchei mita kvurin. You're still going to be oisik with them. So
tzarchei mita and kvurin, but not levaya. Not levaya. That means you bury it, but there's no levaya. Levaya means you walk behind the mace.
That's right.
So it could be. I remember seeing this question somewhere. I forgot where I saw it. But it could be Sif Ches is adding that there's no Levaya either. Hesped maybe is not a Chiddush, but Levaya is a Chiddush. Where do I see that? It
Because
doesn't
here
remember.
but in the Mechaber he writes both. Ein misaskin lahesped ulavos.
Right, so it could be the main Chiddush is Lavos.
That's right.
It could be
So
the main
there's no-
Chiddush. You're right. The Hesped is not a Chiddush maybe.
Does the baby have to be at least 30 days old for you to say Kaddish?
Well, we just said we brought down from the Lublin. Yeah.
No, the Lublin brought down 12 months.
Right.
The Lublin said even before 12 months, but how about 30 days? So there it depends.
Lublin was 30 days, and the Ramah
30
was 12
days.
months.
No, it says Al Ben Lamed Omrim. He talks
The
about the
Lublin is 30 days.
Yeah, but the question is, because the Ben Lamed in those days, because he didn't know it was Kalvoi Chadashav. We'll have to see later on. If you know for sure it was Kalvoi Chadashav, that's a full-term baby, and it died within 30 days, we'll see later on there's different halachas. That's why
we saw that halach already.
we
with
saw that
by
before
Priya.
already, and we'll see it again by Kaddish also. That means whenever it says you need 30 days, it's because we don't know for sure it was Kalvoi Chadashav. So it could be it was never really going to live, so it's a nafel, and therefore it has a din like it was born dead.
But we spoke out, the Rebbe spoke out that Bisman Hazeh, we don't hold by that at all, right?
By what?
I think we said that today all babies are Kolu Chadashav.
Yeah, so then the halacha will change. Right. If it's Kolu Chadashav, the halacha will change. If we know for sure that it's a full-term baby, then the halacha would change. Yeah, 100%.
So
But even then, even if it's Kolu Chadashav, if the kid is born with a sickness that he can't live, then it's the same thing as like Kolu Chadashav. The same thing as like Kolu Chadashav. It's very rare that you have, unless, I mean, you know better than me, but I think it's very rare that a regular healthy baby is born and he dies within 30 days. Usually it's born with a complication and then it dies within 30 days.
Lav Dafka. You can have a very simple case, and unfortunately very common, and I'm sure we do it, a baby who gets infected. In other words, the baby is otherwise well, the mother carries an infection called group B strep. It's common in women to carry it, 15% carry it. And for whatever reason, a baby can get sick and die and has perfectly normal organs. Everything is normal.
No, but then it's born with this
No,
virus.
the baby is fine for 7 days. It can go home, have everything.
Okay, so that'll be a shayla. So a baby that's born like that and then it dies within 30 days, then it'll be a shayla if it's this kaddish on it or not. I don't remember what the halacha is.
So what are the rules? So just can we clarify because it's so involved here. So could we sort of like under 30 days? Like can we start from there and go
under 30?
forward?
The way it works is under 30 days. The reason why it wouldn't be kaddish or anything is because it's considered a nafel. It's considered like it's born or stillborn. There's no kaddish. Everyone agrees. Right? A baby that's born, it's a stillborn, or there's a complication and you have to take it out of pieces, like there's no luck over here. There's no kaddish, there's nothing, there's no levaya. It's just kfur. Now, any baby that dies within 30 days, in halacha, stam means it's a suffix. We don't know. It could be used like kol chadashav, and that's why it died. Therefore, before 30 days, you find in halacha, it has the same din as it was born as a nafel. It's a nafel. Same din as it was born dead. Because if it doesn't last 30 days, that means it could not live 30 days. And therefore, it's as if it was born dead, it's the same halachas. After 30 days, then already it has a din like a regular born baby, and it's not considered a nafel. And therefore, it's like a human being was nifter. So on that, the Ramah says, even so, if it's after 30 days, still, there's no kaddish and there's no tzaddik hadin on a child 12 months old for a different reason. Till a baby is 12 months old, we don't have to give it the respect, so to say, and say kaddish and kemal rachamim, all these things. That's what the Ramah says. The Shach says, not that way. The Shach says once the baby hits 30 days old, it's a regular baby, and therefore, after 30 days, even before 12 months, there's regular Kaddish and regular Kermol Racham, regular Tzaddik Adin. That's what the Shach says. Now, today's when a baby is born, dies within 30 days, then you have to figure out what happened. Does it mean it was never had a chance to live? But once it has a chance to live, if I'm not mistaken, we'll see later on, is a case of Kaluloi Chadashov. If you know for sure that it's a full-term baby and it dies within 30 days, the halacha changes later on. Then it's not considered a nefel. A baby that's Kaluloi Chadashov, that we know for sure that's a full-term baby, and then it died even within 30 days, doesn't have the din of a nefel. If it doesn't have a din of a nefel, then it has a din like it's after 30 days, and there is a kaddish according to the shach, v'chulu, all dinim of a regular baby. That's the basic halachas. Now,
so if the baby's more than 30 days, the only machlekes between the Ramah and the shach is with tziddik adin and kaddish. But
correct, levaya there would be.
But there would be a levaya.
Levaya you would have, yeah. Levaya there would be. And so that's the kaddish, right? Then the levaya you have, right, which we haven't seen ches now, which is a baby that was born dead or it's a nefel. There's no hesped, no levaya, but there is a kvura. A kvura there is. You have to have regular DNA kvura. That's by a nefel. And then when it comes time to hespedim, that's a whole different halacha. When you maspid, there it depends. B'nei Ashirim, b'nei Aniyim. It depends when you stop being maspid a child.
So is it fair to say that levaya and hesped go together?
No, they don't go together. We're saying.
In general, as a general rule, levaya and hesped would go together, and kaddish and tziddik adin are separate. That's how we separate them.
I'm not sure what you mean. No, a general rule is that hesped has no shaykhs to levaya. Hesped, we see it start to b'nei chamisha. It's 5 years old.
So hesped is more with tziddik adin and kaddish.
No, hesped is.
So you're saying there's three categories. The last thing. So that means
the last thing. Correct. Hesped is the last thing. You have to wait till 5 years old even. Tziddik adin and kaddish you do after 30 days according to the shach, according to the more after 12 months. Levaya, everyone agrees to do after 30 days. Even the Ramah that says there's no tziddik adin and no kaddish, he doesn't say there's no levaya. So tziddik adin and kaddish comes before hespedim. Hespedim is the last thing you would do.
And when we say hespedim 5 or 6 years, does that mean it's usher before that? I mean, like, let's say it's a 4-year-old and somebody wants to say something nice about him. Would that be asur or would it be?
No, it doesn't say it's usher. But the reason why you're not masking a 4-year-old is because a 4-year-old doesn't have any meisim. He's not doing anything.
Actually, I mean, again, the experience that I've had with people like that, I mean, like if a child, God forbid, dies when he's 3 years old, they have meisim because they struggled with an illness or something. You know, it's something that people want to talk about. Right?
Yeah, but it's not really. You don't see any gadlus in the child. A 2 or 3-year-old child that's suffering, you don't see any gadlus in the child. The way he handled it, he didn't cry so much. Like, what did it say about a 2 or 3-year-old child?
Yeah, I think that's what people say, how brave they were or whatever, you know.
I hear. Okay, I hear.
Anyway, yeah.
It's interesting because Chazal don't look at it as the braveness of a child. The child that doesn't know what it means even. A 2 or 3-year-old child doesn't know what it means. Doesn't know what it means. It's not his midas that's doing it. It's hard to master a young child. When the kid gets older, when he's master with people and interacts with people on his own intuition, then you could say mindless about him. That's the way Chazal look at
I
it.
think in general nowadays we glorify children more than they did in another time. Yeah, another time.
Yeah, because when people glorify children, it's not really actions. It's not calculated actions of a child. A child doesn't calculate his actions, unless a child is a child prodigy. Then at a young age, he can already start, having mice that he's doing. But otherwise, exactly how cute he is, how he holds a spoon, is not really a Maisa that's to be Meshabeach. Okay. Steve Tess. Yoshim she'enon roitzim lefroya schar hespedon. Yoshim that don't want to pay. They also unfortunate. The father was nifta, and they're not interested in being masked with the father. So they don't want to pay. They used to pay somebody to be maspid. Today it would be important. It would be the same idea as paying for a funeral. You could force them to pay. Says the Shach over here, Yarshim dafka sheyashim mammon hameis. Only if they yashin the mammon of the mace. The imloy kain, because if not, afilu banav ein meitzin mehem. You can't force the child to pay for the father's levaya unless the father left over money. So it says over here, the father left over money, and the kids don't want to use the father's money for his covered. So the halacha is you could force the kids to pay for it. But if the father didn't leave over any money, you cannot force the kids to pay for it. Also a Musar Haskell, father leaves over a child for money, a lot of money, and the kid doesn't want to pay for the father's levaya. I mean, it's a little. I just saw yesterday, what was it? I think it was a mashal. I think it was a true story. Mordecai mashal. That a kid, that somebody who's got married and his father had a lot of money, and they were struggling, and the family got bigger, so they decided they're going to convince the father to build a big house, and they'll give him a place in the house, and they'll take care of him in their house, and this way they'll also have themselves a nice big house. However, the father paid for it, a big beautiful house. The kids lived there with their children, and the grandfather had his place in the house, and the kids were the child was taking care of his father. And as the years went on, it was harder and harder to take care of the father. So his wife goes over to him and says, "Listen, your father's getting older. It's hard to take care of him. Let's just send him to a nursing home." So the son says, "A nursing home? What do you mean? This is his house. I can't send him to a nursing home." After a while, the wife convinced him. They checked into nursing homes. It's very expensive. They checked into cheaper ones. Finally, they found the government-funded nursing home, which basically was nothing good. And they said, "You know what? We'll put him there." They go over to the father and say, "Listen, you're getting older. You need help. We're going to put you into this and this place." The father obviously didn't want it. They had no choice. As an old man already, couldn't fight with his kids. On the way out, and the father packed up the stuff, the son tells his son, the grandson, to go upstairs to the attic. There's an old blanket over there, and take that old blanket and send it along with the grandpa, so he should have a blanket at least when he goes. They didn't want to give him a nice clean blanket. Took an old blanket from the attic. So the kid goes up to the attic to get the blanket, and it's taking him a long time to come down. And the father, after a while, says, "Hello, what's taking you so long?" So he says, "I'm cutting the blanket in half." He says, "Why are you cutting it in half for?" Because I need half for when you get older.
Yeah, for my old man, yes.
I need half for when you get older.
Yes.
And the father understood already that it was his father's money. You pay for whatever it takes.
That's what it says in the Ten Commandments. What is the connection between your life and respecting your parents? It is what you do to your parents, your kids will do to you.
Kids will do to you. Yep, that's right. Anyway, so a kid if a Yerush yashes money from his father and he doesn't want to pay for a nice funeral, you force him to pay for it. Okay, Sif Yod, Mishat Sivish Layis Beduhu. If someone commanded that they shouldn't give him a hesped, Shemullah, you listen to him. Aval Sivish Lalinig Olav Zayin, if he said they shouldn't sit shiva for him, because they were shloishim, or they shouldn't have the 30 days of shloishim, ain't Shemaloi. Why? Says the Nosach here. The reason is because the hesped is a covered for the mace. The shiva is meant for the avelim. So if the father says, "Don't say shiva for me," the avelim don't have to listen to him. Why? Because that's their thing, not the father's thing. The hesped is meant for the father, for the mace, and therefore he says, "Don't be maspid me," then you have to listen. Says the Shachir, Seif Cotton Ches, Mitzin Mehem. If you force the kids to pay for it, the Hesped Yakra, the Shechvahu, with Hamazeh Shoyim like Shoyim al Taspeduhu. Hesped is Yikra, is the Chshivas, is covered the Shechva for the person who's dead. With Hamazeh Shoyim like, which he says al Taspeduhu. That's why you listen to him. Right? That's the next Seif. Seif Cotton Ches, ain't Shoyim like. Avot Sivam Ha'ava Aim, so the Behem Yud Beis Chodesh. So father and mother say that don't do Avelis for us for 12 months. Even the Einoi Shaykh B'Shar Meisim, Ela B'Kvoid Ava Aim, Mitzvah L'Kayim Devreihem. It's a mitzvah to listen to them. So that's the Chiddush the Shach says.
Does that mean
the parent says,
don't take Kaddish after me?
Don't take Kaddish after me. Don't take Kaddish. It's a mitzvah to listen to the parent. Why? Because the Kaddish already is for the cover of the parent. Shiva is meant for the Avelim to get over the pain. Kaddish is covered for the parent. So anything that's covered for the parent, we listen to them, and for the mace, and we listen to them, Shaimalai. So here's a very interesting Pesach Tshuva, Seif Cotton Aleph. I am behated shall Rav Maritzal Shekotav Shem Shubas Beis Yaakov. The Godel Hador Shemeis. You have a Godel Hador that died. A tzaddik, a Rebbe that died. The Tziva Shaloi LaHaspida. And he said, "Don't be maspid me." Hamekel Shaloi Lishmoya LeChochem Haloz Loi Hifsid Ayin Sham. Then you don't have to listen to him. Why not? Why is it different? It's a covered amace. The teretz is that that's not covered amace. Adam Choshev that died, he masked with him, is covered of people who are close to him. Then it says, "V'ayim mishal shuvah mehava, sheherech v'zeh v'hevi b'shem Rebbe hagoyin bal noid b'Yehuda zal, she'omar v'eisha hispid la'goyin bal pnei Yeshua." And the pnei Yeshua was nifta. Av she'tziva shaloi l'haspidoi. The pnei Yeshua left the tzavah, "Don't be masked with me." And the noid b'Yehuda did not listen. Ain't Shaimin Bezeh. If he should Rabin Shakol B'nei Hagoyla. You have to listen to him. Even though the B'nei Yeshua said, "Don't be masked with me," you don't have to listen to him because he was Rabin Shakol B'nei Hagoyla. He was the Adam Chashav, and therefore you don't have to listen to Adam Chashav who says not to be masked with him. V'shakol v'tori b'ham v'sayim, and he ends off there. She'ein lo het to borrow levatal divrei hames for the haspidai. B'mokim she'omer al taspidayni. V'ayin sham v'simin v'zayin oid mizeh. The Kitzur, he says that it's not so pashut. The Ma'aser the minhag olam today is if Adam Chasha says, "Don't be maspid me," the maspid will start off. Even though he said, "Don't be maspid me," still I'm going to be maspid him. And where does that come from? The chayre comes from here. It comes from here. That's why you allowed to be maspid. They say by tzaddikim who are makbid that they shouldn't have a spadim. So they die, they make a by Erev Shabbos or in Nisan or Chalamoid, that is also to be maspid. Yeah.
It also seems to be a stira with Sif Aleph here, because in Sif Aleph we said it's a good thing to make a hesped.
Yeah.
Both for the person making it and for the mate, for both. And now it's saying, honor his wishes if he says no.
Will he see it's for the people making it? Maybe it's just for the mace. Will he see it's for all of it's for the other people?
I thought I understood that it was affecting both.
So probably from the reverse.
Is maflik. If someone goes ahead and he says too much, then he's making it bad for himself and for the mace.
Okay,
The
just
whole
the next.
hesped, yeah, that's not the but the whole hesped is meant for the mace.
But we said if you don't make a hesped, then it's bad for you.
Because it's covered in mace. So if the mace doesn't want it, then it's not bad. It's only if the mace wants it and you don't and you don't do it, then it's a problem. But if the mace says don't do it, it's only covered for the mace. If it would be if the hesped would be for the person who's doing it, for the people who are doing it, then who cares if they don't do it? Why is this a terrible thing? But the fact that it's a covered for the mace and you're not giving the mace his covered, that's why it's a terrible thing. But if the mace doesn't want it,
but it says mitzvah gedola lahesperat amet. In other words, it's not just a covered lemes; it's a mitzvah for you.
No, it's a mitzvah for you because of the mace. It's a mitzvah gedola for you to be masped because of the cover of the mace. Because it's a covered for the mace.
Rebbe, is the mace also allowed to release the like a father release his?
I lost you out.
Is the mace also allowed? Whose phone is ringing?
Someone's phone is ringing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Say again.
I don't know.
It's
not my
Alan.
phone.
It's Alan. Alan, your phone is ringing.
Oh yeah, I'll here.
I'll
Pick it up and close it. Thank you.
Yeah, Manny, go ahead.
Yeah. So, is the mace also allowed to like a father allowed to tell his children that they don't have to do all of the chiyuvim for the whole year, like not listening to music and going to chasanas and that's besides all of the chiyuvim of the shana. Does this mean that?
Yeah, it's mashma from here. It's mashma from here that anything.
Wow.
It's mashma from the Mechab, from the Ramah. The whole Yud Beis Chodesh that you have by a parent is because of cover of the parent. Everything. But that's mashma from the Shach.
That's amazing, because if there was a situation of like hard times where it's very difficult for children to do that sort of to keep that, it would be a very good eitzah for a parent to say before they're going to die that you don't have to do that for me.
Yeah, but most people don't do it. Most people don't do it because it is a schus. It is a schus for the mace.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But what if the mace and the son are the only two who know that he was released from his obligation, and then everybody starts looking at him and saying, "How could you not say Kaddish for your father?"
Okay, that's what he'll tell people.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter a sign of that. Okay. That's if it says not to be masked him. And right before Pesach, 2 days before Pesach, my Rebbe was nifted. The Rav Mitzke Rebbe Shteit was my Rebbe. He was nifted 2 days before Pesach. Now, I knew him very, very well, the Rav Mitzke. He's very famous in the world as the head of the Agudas Soul of America. But personally, he hated covenant. He hated covenant. And anytime that we gave him cover in yeshiva or anything like that, he used to yell at us. And his will was fulfilled. He died 2 days before Pesach, and there was no one spayed him. There was no one by the Levaya because of the matziv. And you see that the person, his will gets fulfilled.
All because of COVID.
COVID, yeah. He didn't want COVID. Yeah. Okay, Yir Aleph. Isur Tlisha Seyar, v'chein Srita al Ameis b'Simik of Pei, pulling out the hair or cutting yourself, go look at Simik of Pei. Yud Beis Ha'am Ha'otzkim Hesped, anybody that's busy with Hespedim, calls man Sha'ameis mutal lefneim, if it's in front of the maze, v'shmotim echad v'karim eshma maspalim. You can't all leave the same time and leave the mace there. Therefore, one person at a time goes out, says Shema, and davens. Ain't that mace mutal lefneim? The mace is not there in front of them. So all you have is the avelim. So then, Haim Yeshua and V'Kairim, they could go ahead and say Kriya Shema, and they could daven. V'Oinen, the person who's an Oinen, Yeshiv V'Doimei. We can't say anything. Haim Oimdim U'Mispalim, they daven. V'Hu Matzlik Olav Asadin, he's Matzlik the Din, the Oinen, The Avel v'omer yiratzon l'fanecha Hashem Elokai shetigdar pirtzeisenu pirtzeis amcha beis Yisrael. You should close off the pirtzeis. The pirtzeis means the people that are dying. Yud Gimel achar kfura, after the kfura, mafsikim a hesped bein lekriyishma bein letfila. Before the kfura, when the mace is there, so then you can't. Everyone's going to leave and do kriyishma and tefillah. You leave the mace alone. Therefore, you don't stop to hesped for kriyishma and for davening. After the kfura, when the mace is buried already, so there's no problem covering the mace. So then you could stop to hesped for kriyishma and for tefillah. Yudalit ein oisim shnei hespedim be'irachatz. You can't do two hespedim at one time in the same city. Elam came yesh sham roiv am lecholak l'shnayim. Behave b'chol hesped am kedei tzarchan. There has to be enough people for both hespedim. You have two hespedim in the same place. We're talking about a small city. So what are you going to do? People can't be in both places at the same time. Therefore, it's covered on mace. You can't go ahead and do two hespedim in the same city at the same time, a small city, with a limited amount of people. And the same thing, ein oisim shnei hespedim be'irachas, elim kein yesh kedei l'sapei l'shvachav shel zeh, v'shvachav shel zeh. You have to have people who could be maspid. Let's say you only have one person who could be maspid for both of these mason. There's one person who knew these two mason very well. So you can do the hesped at the same time, even though you have enough people to go to each one, but who's going to give the hesped? So therefore, also in a small city, if all you have is one person who could do the hesped, you're not allowed to go ahead and make it at the same time, because both mason need that same person to be masped them. Okay. It's already 10 o'clock. I don't mind going weiter, if anyone wants to, or we can leave it for next week.
Leave it for next week.
I'm okay to say.
Leave it for next week? Okay. Tez Zion, we're holding. We'll start from Tez Zion next week.
Rabbi, I don't know if you ever heard this before, but I've read recently there's some scientific evidence that hearing is the last thing to go after a person is dead. And there's evidence that for some significant time after death, there still is a sense of hearing that's available.
Right here. Hey, but Taz says over here that it's kibachaloim, like in a dream.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It doesn't say you hear it through your ears.
Mm-hmm.
It says the hearing is kibachaloim, whatever that means.
Uh-huh. Maybe hazy or weak or something. I don't know. I'm not sure I don't know.
Not sure.
Interesting. Okay.
Manny, I was going through some of my papers yesterday.
Yes.
I found a copy of that star that you once gave me.
Oh, really? That's funny.
You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I still have it.
You ever figure out what happened?
No. No.
It was found in your father's belongings.
My grandfather's.
Oh, was your grandfather's belongings?
Yeah.
Oh.
It was my grandfather. My mother's father.